Well, I'm going to show you these cards, okay? And we are learning all about the new Flowering Foils designer paper, okay? And I'm going to lift these cards up. I am going to show them to you. Hi, Carol. Welcome. All right. So tonight, I've got a special. I haven't done this before. I know a lot of demonstrators are doing this now, and so I thought I would give it a try. For anyone placing a $35 order in my online store, and this is the address, you'll earn a B on a B rewarded card. And once you've collected 10 Bs, you'll earn 35 in free product. Now, you will need to use this hostess code. By doing that, I will know that you have participated in this week's drawing. And it's going to start this evening through Monday, March 9th. For anyone placing a $35 order, you will receive the supplies to make all 4 of these cards. All right. You'll receive the die cuts if there are any. You'll receive all the supplies needed, but you will not receive stamped images. Per Stampin' Up guidelines, I am not allowed to do that, okay? But you'll receive everything else. And you can always substitute words if you don't have them, okay? All right. All right, well, let me give you a close-up look of each card, and then, well, you know what? Let me start with the designer paper, okay? And sometimes the designer paper is hard to see because it has the foil in it. So the designer paper comes 12 by 12, okay? But I have cut it down 6 by 6. And this is a free product with a $50 purchase. All right, this is a Sale-A-Bration item. Okay, all right. Whoops, my grid paper's already moving. So this is one of the sheets. You get 3 of this design. Okay, you get 3 of this design. 3 of this design. Oh, you're going to see all of these on a card tonight. And 3 of this design. All right, so that's how they come in the package. It's 12 packages, excuse me. It's 12 sheets per package. And actually, there are 3 of each sheet, and they're 12 by 12. So hopefully I have not confused you, okay? But this is what the Flowering Foils looks like. And it is a Sale-A-Bration product, okay? All right. So now I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'll bring it back at the very end of class, okay? All right. So our very first card, I'm going to zoom in here, or at least hold the card up to the camera. You're going to see this design here. And originally, I thought this was copper foil, but it's actually called rose gold foil, okay? But it's very close to copper. And I did use copper on the pineapple, okay? And then this sheet right here is the new Sale-A-Bration vellum. That's also a free item. And this comes in soft seafoam. It comes in Pool Party. And let me think, I think Purple Posy is the purple. Let me look real quick. It is. So right here, you've got the soft seafoam, Purple Posy, and Pool Party. All right, and that's another free Sale-A-Bration item. And it's 12 by 12. And it looks like you get 6 sheets. So 2 of each color. All right, so that's another freebie when you spend $50. So yesterday, Stampin' Up! Released a bunch of new products for Sale-A-Bration, and so that's what we're focusing on tonight with the card, okay? All right, I'm gonna move these cards out of the way, or you know what? I'm gonna show them to you. That's the first one. Here's the second one, and I'm gonna show you how to get this beautiful background. Here's another one. I'm gonna show you how to sponge and color that sheet. And then we're gonna use the sponge brayer on this card, okay? So lots of tips tonight using the flowering foils, okay? So you're going to learn how to use this paper in all kinds of cards, okay? All right, I'm gonna grab a sip of water here before we get started. And please let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so I have since I have 4 cards tonight, I've kind of packaged them so I can keep all my material straight, okay? All right, so here we go. We're starting with a Calypso Coral card base, okay? And then this is our designer paper that we're going to use, and I'll give you measurements. Hi, Debbie. It is measuring 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches, okay? Now the vellum we're using, that's another Sale-A-Bration product. Look at those beautiful dots. This is soft seafoam, and it's measuring 3 3/4, just like the designer paper did, by 4 inches. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to tape the vellum to the foil, okay? And what I'm going to do is, because when you use vellum, you can see the adhesive behind it. Martha, welcome. It's so nice to have you tonight. I am thrilled. Martha is my upline, so I am tickled she's here. Hi, Amy, welcome. It's good to have you, my friend. All right, and so with, let's see, gosh, where was I? Okay, so when you use vellum, you can see the adhesive behind it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put my adhesive in the center behind the vellum, and that way we'll never see it, okay? We'll never see that adhesive. And I'm just going to guess where that might be. And so I'm just gonna put some adhesive, like right in the center. Okay, just right there. All right. Okay, and then I'm probably going to use my grid paper to help me line this up. And I'm just going to center this about right here. Okay, so that will take care of this card base layer. And I'm going to pop this up, and we'll use dimensionals to do that. Okay, and I forgot, so many of you know my upline, Martha, that are on here tonight. This is awesome. Okay, all right, so I'm just, peeling off the dimensionals here, peeling off the paper. Thanks, Carol. Okay, and I am going to use this Calypso card base and the grid paper, okay? And I am going to help that line this up and kind of center this onto this card base. All right, so the very first part is done. So, what I'm showing you here is with the flowering foils. I don't know how many times I'm going to be able to say that tonight. But what I'm showing you here is you can use this foil just like it is. You don't have to do a thing to it. It's beautiful on its own. All right, and now we are going to get out some of the pieces. Now I've taken the time to cut these, okay, because these are basic cuts with their Big Shot. But if there's anyone out there who doesn't know how to cut that, I am happy to explain it. This is the bottom of the pineapple. I've already cut it with copper foil, all right? This is the top of the pineapple in garden green. Now, does anybody know where this is from? I'm going to look it up for you quickly. We are working in the mini catalog, and it's on page 40 is it on page? Yeah, 40. On page 40, it's the Timeless Tropical Bundle, all right? And so this is the stamp set, and these are the coordinating dies called In the Tropics. And that's where the pineapple die cuts are coming from, all right? And that's page 40 in the mini, all right? So I love this pineapple. This is actually the first time that I've used it. Okay, I'm gonna bring in my Tombow glue here, and I am just going to add a little bit of Tombow in some of these spaces on the back of the copper foil. All right, and I don't have to do the entire thing. All right, it's really up to you. You know, you can cover it in glue if you want, but then it gets pretty messy. All right. Okay, so I certainly think that is enough. And then this is So Saffron cardstock, and it's actually just a scrap from my paper scraps. And then I'm going to attach the copper to the So Saffron, and I'm going to leave it there to dry, okay? All right, so we'll leave that there, and let's go ahead and we'll get our stamping done while that's drying. And I'm going to use this little strip of cardstock, and it's measuring at a 1/2 inch, all right? And the words also are from the Timeless Tropical Stamp Set, all right? I'm using Calypso Coral. You could have also used Garden Green. That probably would have been really pretty too. All right, and let me get my stamp here. All right, our friendship is timeless. And I just thought that was a really pretty sentiment. And I'm gonna stamp right along here. Now let's hope that I do this straight. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. I'll take it. All right. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my little trimmer. Now this little trimmer is part of the starter kit. So I can't pick this up. So if you would like this little trimmer, you can join my team. And this is part of your kit. And isn't it the cutest thing ever? Hey, Mary Kay, welcome. Sonia, I'm so glad you liked the card. Thank you. Now, if my memory serves me correct, I think this is 3 3/4, but let's check. All right. I'm going to cut it a little bit. I'm going to cut it at 3 5/8. All right. And let me go over here, and that's about 5/8. So that's 3. I think that's going to do it. All right, I actually think that's 3 7/8, so let me look. Let's see if it'll work. It will fit fine, so we'll use it. All right. Okay, so that part is done. And now I think we can probably go back to the pineapple. Hi, Terry, welcome. Happy Wednesday to you. And we're just gonna trim around this pineapple, okay? All right. And I'm going to do it all the way around. All right, I think some other colors that would look good with this would be Daffodil Delight for your pineapple. You could use a crushed curry. You could probably even use, you know, sometimes pineapples are super green when you buy them. So I'm sure we have some greens that you could use too. All right. Okay. So I'm just finishing this up. And this is what we call fussy cutting, which is a sewing term. I didn't know that about a year ago. So thank you, Terry, very much. Thank you, thank you. All right, we can get rid of that now. All right. Okay, so this is all ready, and I'm trying to see now. Okay. So I didn't pop up the pineapple. So let's go ahead and we're going to put some snail right back here on the pineapple. And let's make sure we get it going in the right way. And I think this is right. Okay. And then we're going to place it about right here. Okay. And then I do need to tuck the top in. I'm gonna do that with the glue dot. Thanks, Gail. Gail, I am a pineapple person. I love to eat it. Oh, and I've been thinking about all kinds of things that I could do with this darling, darling pineapple. Isn't it cute? All right, and now we're going to add the flowers. Does anybody know where the flowers are from? Hi, Amanda. Welcome. Can anybody guess? I'm going to tell you if you don't get it right, okay? All right. But do you remember we have a new coordination product for Sale-A-Bration, and it's called Pleased as Punch. And a week or two ago, we made cards using this paper pack. And so this is the one with the coordinating flower punch. And the flower punch is a Sale-A-Bration product, okay? And it's free with the $100 purchase. All right, so let's see if we can find, let's do a pink flower. I already have some punched out. All right. So that ought to take care of that. But this is from Pleased as Punch. I know, it really is, yeah. You're right, Mary Kay. Mary Kay, are you talking about the DSP for the tropical set, or the foils, or the Pleased as Punch? Gosh, we have so many papers to keep up with, don't we? All right. I just put a little glue dot behind that flower, and I'm going to stick that right there, okay? And I'll even zoom in a little bit. All right, I know the pineapple is super sweet. I love it. No pun intended. I said super sweet. As you can see, I'm curling these petals up with my fingers to give them a little more dimension. And I'm going to stick that one right there. And I can still lift up on it. And one more glue dot. And then we're just going to tuck this one in here somehow. All right, how about that? Okay. And now here we can add our words. Let's see, not that. These are our words right here. All right, and I probably should have added the words before the flowers, but it will still work. We will make it work. All right. Yeah, I thought today when I created the pineapple, I thought I have to go to Bath and Body. There's got to be some super cute pineapple stuff that they have that I can use for creating projects. There just has to be. So anyway, all right. So there we are. We are going to add some rhinestones now, okay? So, well, I think we're going to add rhinestones. We'll give it a little bit of bling. And so this card right here is showing you that you don't have to do a thing to this fancy foil paper. It is gorgeous just the way it is. All right. Oh, and I'll show you the dies to the pineapple. Hey, Laura, welcome. Here's the die here, and here's the top of the pineapple. It's got some darling flowers. It has words that say aloha. So just a really nice set of dies. All right. So this is our first card. And also, you see these little cuts in this top? Let's bend those forward a little bit because that will give us a little more dimension. All right. And so that's the first card. And for anyone who types in a comment, your name's going in a drawing. And if you share the video, I want you to let me know that you shared it. Just say shared so that your name can be in the drawing a second time. All right. So those things will help you win one of my cards tonight. And we're going to have 4 winners. All right. Okay. So we'll get this one out of the way. And our next one, and let's see, our next one is this foil. Let me get this one out so that you can see the foil, okay? And remember, it does come in 12 by 12 sheets, all right? So I love this one. Now this one, the flowers are in rose gold. They're also in silver, okay? So you could certainly use this as a background. It's beautiful on its own, all right? But if you want to kick it up a notch, you can use your Stampin' Blends and color around the flowers. So in this card, I used, let's see, the Stampin' Blend, the Light Pool Party. And that's what I used to color in this background, all right? And this is on a Coastal Cabana card base. Now I'm going to show you how I did that, all right? It's really cool. Okay, so let me get out. I have decided that I'm going to use a different color. Thanks, Carol, for sharing. I used Pool Party on the first one, and I'm going to use Calypso Coral on the second one, okay? Now, a couple of tips for you. It's good to have your color lifter. This is something I don't always use in class, and I should be. And so I'm going to show you how to use that color lifter. Sorry, I'm just taking a quick sip of water. Okay, so I have found, I've colored with both tips, okay, on this paper. And I found that the brush tip actually worked a little bit better, all right? It was a little bit smoother, and it was easier for me to get around all of these flowers, okay? All right. And so I'm gonna show you. Let me zoom in. Hi, Denise, welcome. Ladies, I am zooming in so you can get a closer look. And I think I'm gonna go back to my fine tip here. So it's funny because sometimes I feel like when I color with the fine tip, I have more control. And then later today, I used the brush tip and I felt like I had more control. So it really is a personal preference, all right? And I am basically coloring between all of these flowers, okay? All right. Now I'm going to show you, I've gotten a little bit of ink on one of the flowers. I actually did it on purpose. And so now I can take the color lifter and I can help lift out that color, okay? So that's why it would be great for you to have your color lifter for this project. So I'm gonna color just a little bit more, and then I'm gonna show you a finished piece of designer paper, okay? So basically this is all you do. All right, so coloring can be very therapeutic. And so I'm just showing you how you want to do your coloring, okay? So you're coloring between all those flowers. So I hope that's easy enough for you to see. I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to show you the finished product in the Calypso Coral. And this is the dark Stampin' Blend. Look how it turns out. What do you think? So it goes from this to this. And this is Calypso Coral, and this is the dark Stampin' Blend. Now you can always start with your lighter Stampin' Blend to see how you like it, okay? All right, so we are going to be using a, let's see, is this Calypso Coral or am I using terracotta? Hang on one second. This is Calypso Coral card base, okay? Thanks, Mary Jane. So this is Calypso Coral, and then this is a copper foil sheet, all right? And so I'm going to pop up this piece of designer paper on the copper, okay? And look at the back. The ink seeped through to the back, and look at that. Looks like I did a pretty good job, doesn't it? All right, I'll even put one. Let's see, do I want one in the middle? Yeah, I can put one in the middle. All right, so we'll pop up this first, and we are gonna do some heat embossing. Like I told you, I found out that it was rose gold. And it was on the online store. When you look up flowering foils, it'll tell you the colors in it, and it said silver and rose gold, and I thought it was copper. And so copper is definitely a good alternative. Hang on one second, you're stuck. Don't get stuck yet. All right, maybe I'll do it this way. Okay. And it looks like I might have my measurement off a little bit. I may have cut this too short, but you know what? We're gonna go with it. I did cut it too short, but that's okay. We'll just have the copper foil on the ends instead of all the way around, okay? So, all right, and so at this point we can use our copper ribbon. All right, so I'm gonna bring that in. I really like this Calypso Coral. I would love to do one of these in every single one of our blends. Wouldn't that be not neat? I would love that. All right. I'm just going to tie a bow. I have found that this ribbon is super easy for tying bows. All right. And that should take care of that. I'll get that out of the way. Okay, and now we can go ahead and pop this up on our card base. You know, it's funny, sometimes I stamp first and then put the card together. Sometimes I put the card together and then I do stamping. So I don't know about you all, but I do it both ways. So I'm not very consistent in doing that. Hi, Jamie, welcome. Nice to have you tonight. All right, I'm glad y'all like the card. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to center this, and it's popped up. All right, and we're going to put it about right there. So that's what we have so far, okay? So now I am going to take one of the die cuts. Now this die cut right here is from So Sweetly Stitched. So I want to show you these dies. They're in the mini catalog, okay? And I'm not sure which page this one is on. I want to say it's close to the front. Let me just look real quick. I might be able to find it. All right, if not, one of you ladies can look it up for me. But it's in the mini catalog, and this is the actual shape that we cut. All right, and it's called Stitched So Sweetly. And the reason I bring it up is because we're going to be using the words that coordinate with this. And so these are the words called So Sentimental. All right, and these coordinate, the words coordinate with the dies. And you can bundle these two, all right? And Linda says 20, so I have a feeling on page 20, which I'm on page 18 right now. Yep, on page 20, you'll find this bundle, okay? Thank you, Linda, very much. All right, so usually I stamp and then I cut out the die, but to save us a little bit of time, we're going to just stamp, and we're gonna hold our breath that it all turns out great, right? All right, I am going to use the embossing buddy, and I'm just lightly going to rub across this paper because I'm trying to prevent static electricity, okay? All right, and then here's my words. I can't thank you enough, and I'm going to move this stuff out of the way, and I'm going to ink this in Versamark. All right, and I'm going to stamp. And of course you can't see it. I can't even see it. And then I am going to bring in this tray. All right, and this is the copper powder. And I forgot my clothespin, which is exactly what I did last week or the week before. I'll have to try and not burn my fingers. I'm gonna let it just sit there for a second. And then I'm just gonna shake it off. And I'm gonna move this tray so I don't blow the powder everywhere. And then here's my heating tool, and it'll take just a few minutes because the tool is cold, okay? All right, so just hang tight. And I just dropped my embossing powder all over the floor. So I'm gonna have fun when class is over tonight. I'll be cleaning that up. All right. Now when your heat tool is cold, it takes a few extra minutes for the embossing to happen. If your heat tool has been used, if you've been, in a class and you're waiting for someone to finish with the heat tool, then it'll only take a second for yours to heat. So just needs to be warmed up a tad, but this is still pretty fast. All right. I know, Linda, I'm not looking forward to it. I picked up the heating tool and my tray fell on the floor. So anyway, I get to vacuum when this is over. Can you believe it? All right, so now we're gonna bring this card on back in, okay? And we're gonna pop it up. That is all done. I'll never forget the first time that I heat embossed. I thought I could create anything. It was true magic. It really was. I thought I could create anything after that. All right, so here we are. We've got the light pool party background using the Stampin' Blend. And then we've got the dark Calypso Coral Stampin' Blend in the background. All right. So you have to tell me which one you like. Do you like the Pool Party Stampin' Blend or the Calypso Coral? I love them both, and I honestly wish you could see these in person. They are so pretty. And look how I cut the copper foil differently than I did on the first one. It's just because I measured incorrectly, but I still like it. I really like how it's just on these sides. Thank you so much, Linda. So now that's an option for you when you're using the Flowering Fulls designer paper, okay? You can even use Stampin' Write markers. They also work, all right? But I love my blends. They're just too much fun to color with. And I also love the fact that I have a color lifter that I can use if I color outside the lines. So that's why I prefer the blends, okay? All right, oh, and I do have one more to show you. Oh my gosh. Here's one, okay? This is balmy blue in the background, all right? And I want to say light balmy blue. It could be dark, but I'm thinking it's the light balmy blue. And then this flower is colored in with Poppy Parade. And this flower is colored with Pumpkin Pie, all right? And to be honest, I've already forgotten if I use the light or dark. So always start light. And if it's not dark enough for you, then add in the dark blend, okay? But Poppy Parade, Pumpkin Pie, and Balmy Blue for the background. So that's another option. You can use several colors on one sheet of paper, all right? Oh, good. Denise likes the teal one a little bit, but a little more. Great. And that teal color, the card base is Coastal Cabana, Denise, so that you know what that is. All right? So that's an option for you there. All right. I'm going to move those out of the way. And now I'm bringing in this card, okay? And I'm going to get all my little pieces out here. All right, and I am going to take a sip of water. I'm going to zoom in and let you all look at that card real quick. I hope you're able to see the detail and the dimension in the foil paper. Okay, now for this card, I used Grapefruit Grove. Now, Grapefruit Grove is an in color, and it is retiring in May. Okay, so if you like this color, you need to snag some of that ink and paper now. Okay. All right, so it's a Grapefruit Grove card base and then a Grapefruit Grove layer. Okay, so let me show you where the layer is from. It's from this Parisian embossing folder, and this is with the Parisian Blossom Suite, okay? If you turn to page 15, you'll see the embossing folder at the very bottom, okay? This is a 3D embossing folder, so it's extra thick, and it's gonna give your paper more dimension, okay? So let me show you how to set up the sandwich so that you can properly emboss this, all right? Now, I've already taken the time to do mine, all right, and here it is. But let me show you the sandwich for this. You're going to want your 3D embossing folder platform or pad, okay? You're gonna need that. If you don't have this, then use some extra pieces of cardstock to create enough pressure for the paper to go through the big shot, okay? All right, welcome back, Irma. Happy to have you. Okay, so here is the big shot platform that we use for embossing folders. And then we insert the paper into the embossing folder. And I always like to insert my folder going into the big shot with the folded side first. Okay, that's how I like to roll that through. I think it will make your embossing folders last a bit longer. And then here is the 3D embossing folder to put on top, okay? And you do see the item number. It's 149658. It is $10 in my online store. And then you roll it through, and once you've done that, this is what it looks like. Now, I'll just go back real quick. If you don't have this pad, and some people don't have this one, use some sheets of cardstock that are probably about, I don't know, 6 by, whatever the size this is, 6 by 8. And just create enough thickness so that when you roll it through, you get enough pressure. And believe me, your big shot will tell you whether it'll go through or not, okay? All right, so I'm gonna pull that out. It's a really pretty 3D folder, really is. Now for this one, well, let's go ahead and we'll work on the cardstock first. So this is, or the designer paper. This is the designer paper right here. Okay, now remember it comes 12 by 12. I have just cropped this down, okay? Now with this one, we're actually going to sponge this flower right here, okay? These two flowers together. And so to do that, I've already taken the time to fussy cut so that you didn't have to watch me do that, all right? So here it is, and now we're going to need sponge daubers. So I'm bringing in Calypso Coral, and I'm bringing in Old Olive, all right? Okay. I like the sponge daubers because I have more control over the ink. And it's probably easier with this particular flower, okay, and this paper. But we also do offer the Stampin' sponges if you like to use those. I have labeled my sponge daubers. I always do that with the color, and so I'm using the same dauber when I use Calypso Coral, okay? And I have a Brother P-Touch machine that created the label for me. I hope you get a big shot soon, Denise. Denise, we have a brand new die cutting machine coming out in June, I believe June 3rd of 2020. It will be in the new annual catalog, but that's all the information that we have as demonstrators. And Stampin' Up! Has told us we probably won't have any more info until mid-May. So just to give you an idea of what's going on, hang on. Stampin' Up! Is bringing out a new die cutting machine, and I'm sure it will be amazing. So hang on for that, okay? All right, so here's my Calypso Coral. And I'm just gonna dab this off in case I have too much ink, because remember, we can always add more ink, but we can't take it away, all right? So there we are. I've done the centers a little bit darker than I'm going to do the rest of the flower, all right? So now I'm gonna rub that off. And now I am just going to sponge here. And sometimes I kind of dab, and then sometimes I kind of move the ink with the sponge. So I do both. All right. And I might do a little more color. I don't want to get it too dark. All right. So that looks pretty. I'll zoom in and you can get a better look at it while I'm doing it. All right. So now I'm going to color this flower. I've also seen this flower in Highland Heather on Pinterest. So it doesn't have to be Calypso Coral, okay? This can be any color. All right, but we're going to stick with Calypso Coral. Okay. All right. You're welcome, Denise. Yeah, it's important to know that information and hang on, because something good is coming down the road for our die cutting machine. All right. Ooh, you couldn't see that at all. So let me zoom out a little bit. Just a little. There we go. And I'll hold it up to the camera for you. All right. So there it is in Calypso Coral. Now we are going to do the leaves, and we're going to do the leaves in Old Olive. All right, so again, I'm not sure how much ink I have on this sponge, so I'm just going to dab it a little bit, and I'm just going to sponge it like that, okay? Trying not to get too carried away. Don't worry if you're not filling the entire thing in. I mean, this is kind of like watercoloring, so don't worry about that. All right. Okay, and so there is my Old Olive. Now I've got these little buds here. I'm gonna say that that's all. I don't know, I think they're buds, so you know what? I'm gonna make them Calypso Coral. Hopefully that's exactly what it is. If not, I did create some buds. So this is another option, another technique with the Flowering Folds designer paper, all right? You can sponge with your sponge daubers. So let me close this up so that I don't get ink everywhere. All right. And then we're gonna put our card together here. We're gonna put some dimensionals behind this flower, all right? So I'm gonna put them in a couple of different spaces. All right. And that's enough. And then I'll just peel them off. All right. My grid paper just wants to move around tonight. I keep hitting it. All right, ladies, so this is a great time. If you have any questions, let me know what they are. I'm happy to help you with anything. All right, now I've peeled this off, but I need to put this layer onto my card base. So let's do that. And I'm gonna pop this up too. I love popping up a layer on the card base. I just love doing that. It's just really pretty. I don't know what happens after it's mailed. I guess it gets smushed a little bit. So, and remember when you comment tonight, your name is going into a drawing. I'm gonna have 4 winners tonight, ladies, because there are 4 cards. All right. And see, we're just gonna put that layer on, and this is monochromatic, okay? Meaning I'm using the same colors. And remember those dimensionals that I peeled off? I am now ready to add this to my card. All right. And I think I'll add it about right there. And now I'm going to stamp a sentiment. And this is called Celebrate Every Moment. And this is from the Honey Bee stamp set. I have used this so much. Hi, Dawn. Welcome. Thank you. I'm glad you like the cards. All right. So here we go. Let's see. I need black ink. All right. Okay. Now, let's see if I can get this on straight. All right, not too bad. All right, and now I am gonna make a little banner, and I'll probably just add it on one side. So let me just trim that. All right, and now I'm gonna trim this side. Okay, and now I have my banner, and here I'm just gonna use snail because it's just going to be taped to the flowers, and I'll put it about right there. All right, so that's card number 3. I'm actually not doing too badly on time. Hi, Tina, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I don't know if you've ever been with us before, so it's really nice to have you. Thank you. All right, so these are the 2 cards, all right? And that is all done, and now let's look at the 4th one. Here it is. Hi, Trudy. All right. So this is the 4th card right here, and I'll zoom in a little bit. Let me show you what that foil looks like. It looks just like this, and it's silver, okay? So you could color this with blends. You could sponge this with your sponge daubers. And now I'm going to show you a brand new technique with the sponge brayer, okay? So we're gonna move the card out of the way, and I'm just gonna take a sip of water here. And here is my sponge brayer. This is found in our annual catalog. Okay, we are going to use 3 inks. We're going to use Granny Apple Green. And I'm probably going to zoom out for this. And then we're going to use Old Olive. So I'll put that one there. And then we're going to use Pretty Peacock. Okay, so those are my 3 colors. And we're going to start with the lightest color, okay? All right, thank you, Tina, very much. I'm starting with Granny Apple Green. That's what I'm using right now, all right? And then I'm just gonna sponge back and forth, okay? Just like that. So that's pretty light right now. I'm gonna add a little more color, all right? So you can make this as light as you want or as dark as you want, okay? So that's Granny Apple Green. I'll move it so you can see it again. And now I'm going to add some Old Olive, all right? Okay, so when you are using a sponge brayer, you want to start with your lightest color first, okay? Your light, then your medium, and then your dark, all right? So that's our second color, which is Old Olive. And then our third color is Pretty Peacock. Okay, so we're gonna add this one. I love using the sponge brayer. When you're done with the sponge brayer, it just pops right off the handle and you can wash it with tap water, all right, at your sink, okay? All right, so now you can see our 3 colors. We've got Granny Apple Green, Old Olive, and Pretty Peacock, okay? You can see these lines, so the next thing I want to do is to go back and blend those lines, okay? I'm making sure that I don't have any Pretty Peacock left on the sponge, and now I'm going back to the lightest color. And I'm going to do Granny Apple Green, And I am going to sponge right where that line is between Granny Apple Green and Old Olive. And all right, so I hope you can see that. I know I'm shaking the table, so. All right, so I'm just kind of blending them a little more. And then this line here, I'm going to take the Old Olive and I'm just gonna kind of blend in the middle until I can get those two colors to kind of mix real well. All right, so here is the finished product. All right, and I'm moving it in various ways so that you can kind of see. With this lighting, it can be very difficult, all right, to see that. Okay, this was a really fun technique. Really had fun with the sponge brayer. I love using that. And again, when you're done with your sponge brayer, you just wash it under tap water and it will just get all of the ink out, okay? All right, so we're gonna move that out of the way. And now, let's bring that card back in and look at it so we can see what else is going on with it. Okay, so it looks like we're going to add some ribbon, and we're going to add this to a Whisper White card base. So let's get that out. And I just might, I'm gonna move this just because I don't want to get ink on the Whisper White cardstock, okay? I'll just move that out of the way, and now we have a clean surface. Okay, we're gonna wanna add the ribbon first, and this ribbon is still available, and it's in the annual catalog. It's white, and it has this silver metallic edging. And we want to add the ribbon first before we attach it to the card base. All right. All right, so now you ladies can tell me, which technique do you like best? Do you like the blends? Do you like the sponge dauber or the sponge brayer? I would love to know. I think if you could try it with the sponge brayer, that just might be your absolute favorite. Okay, so here we go. We've got our ribbon right here. Okay, all right. And now we're going to cut that. We'll cut that again. Okay, and I always like to cut it on the diagonal, all right? Laura says, my cat is watching with me and enjoyed the sponge brayer. I love it. Yeah, your cat would like the sponge brayer. Oh my gosh, any cat would. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're gonna add that snail on the back, okay? Because we're gonna attach this to the card base. All right. And I'll show you why I did this in just a second. I'm sure y'all have figured it out, but I will tell you why. All right, I'm using the thick Whisper White because I love that for my card bases. Makes them nice and sturdy. And I'm going to attach this layer, and it's the same size as the card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. All right. So let me show you why I added the ribbon before attaching the card layer. This is the original, and I added the ribbon as an afterthought. And so the ribbon is showing inside the card, which isn't a big deal. But I remembered this time to put the ribbon on first. And so when you open it, you don't have that ribbon. So that was my reasoning behind that, okay? So this little part is done, and now we're going to do some more stamping. Again, I have already pre-cut the die cut just for saving us time. And we're gonna do some stamping on this piece. Wishing you every happiness this special day will bring. Let me show you where that's from. That's from Peaceful Moments, which is part of the the Poppy Suite, all right? So that's one of those, the Poppy Suite is a mega suite. It's got 2 stamp sets and 2 sets of dies. So the Peaceful Moments is from that suite, and we're using this piece right here. The other stamp set we're using, which is where the flowers are coming from, I'll show you those up close. That's coming from Tags in Bloom, which is a Sale-A-Bration stamp set. And this item's free with a $100 purchase. And it does coordinate with this brand new punch that we have from the mini catalog. All right, so I wanted you to be aware of that. And we're gonna stamp this in Calypso Coral. Excuse my reach while I grab the Calypso. And let's see, these are my words. Wishing you every happiness. And I'm just gonna stamp that right in the middle. All right? And so that is all taken care of. And now, let's see, let's go back to the basic black. And we are gonna do some stamping here. And I'm going to bring in my mat because we're using a photopolymer stamp set, all right? And so let me show you this stamp set once again. It's one of the Sale-A-Bration products, and it's a photopolymer, okay? And so it doesn't have that extra cushioning like a rubber stamp does. And so that's why we're gonna use our stamp pad. All right. Well, the first thing is, I know we're gonna need a small flower. So let's just go ahead and we'll get that one stamped, okay? So that's all done. And let's see, I'm gonna move this piece of paper under here. I actually wanna use some of it since I've already messed it up. I want to put this on top of my pad right now so that I don't get ink on the pad. And the reason I have to do that, I'm gonna show you, I really just need this upper portion tonight of this stamp. Okay, so that's really all I need. And I didn't want to get ink on this pad, so that's why I did that. All right, at this point, you can either cut out your flower and cut this part out, or you can color it first and then cut it out. Okay, it can go either way. And I've already taken a few minutes to do the cutting for that. And this is just fussing cutting. There isn't a die. So just be aware of that. Let me move this out of the way. Whoops, everything's moving. All right, and now we're gonna do a little bit of coloring, and I can zoom you in for this part. And let's see, let's start with, I'm gonna start with the light Daffodil Delight right here for the centers of the flowers. All right, and this one's got it too. All right, and this is the light Daffodil Delight. And let's see, then I'm gonna come in with the dark Mango Melody, and I'm going to color those dots. Okay, so I'm coloring all those little dots in there. And those are super easy and super fast to do. And then I'm going to bring in Calypso Coral, and I'm probably going to be using both the light and the dark. All right, so we'll start with the little flower. So I'll get this one colored in. All right, so this is our last card tonight, and once this one is all put together, I will be selecting a winner once I'm off air, and then of course I will announce that later this evening who the winner is. All right, Again, this is the light Calypso coral, so you can tell I really do want to go back, and I want my flower to be a little bit darker. All right, so that's that one. Oh, and you know what? This is a bud right here, so we need to do that too. All right. All right, now we're gonna take our dark Calypso coral, and I am going to add some lines right on top of the lines that Stampin' Up created, okay? I'm gonna get all those done. And then in some places, I'm gonna color. All right. So now I'm going back with my dark marker. All right. I actually have just now decided that that whole thing's gonna be dark. That's the one nice thing about the blends. I can start out with the light marker, and you know, if I wanna add more color, it's easy for me to do. All right. All right. I think I'm gonna do that. Just kind of winging it here. There we go. And of course I am gonna add the lines here. Okay. All right. This is the fun part, the coloring. That's what's very therapeutic. All right. It's so funny because I have colored this flower entirely different than I did on the original card. Now I'm gonna bring in light Old Olive and dark Old Olive, okay? And in case you're interested, I used my brother's P-Touch machine. That's what it's called, the P-Touch. It's by Brothers. And I used that to create my labels. All right. The name on the blend was getting too hard for me to see. So even with readers, so I just had to make that decision to do that. So all right, so it's much easier for me to identify. All right, so I've taken the dark marker and I've kind of, you know, outlined those images, and now I'm taking the light Old Olive and I'm going in here and coloring kind of the whole thing. I'm going to go over here and get this one done. All right. Okay, and that will take care of the coloring. I want to attach this to the back of my words. All right, so I'm going to put snail right across here, and that's the top. All right, let me zoom out so you can see better, okay? All right, Carol said she loves coloring. I do too. I like coloring with the blends because it looks like I know what I'm doing when I really don't. All right, okay, so now we're gonna add some dimensionals to this, and we're gonna pop this up on the card. Now, can you believe we've made 4 cards tonight? I can't. I cannot. I've never made this many for a Facebook Live, but I wanted you to see all the different ways that you can use this foil paper. It's very versatile. One more piece to go. That's the little flower. I'm actually gonna use my bone folder this time, try and break up some of those fibers in the paper so it will curl. And then I'm gonna add a dimensional on this. And I think I can use a standard dimensional right here. All right. And I'm gonna put it about right, whoops, I'm gonna put it down a little bit so we can see those words, okay? So that is the fourth and final card, my friends, right there. So let's look at them again quickly. All right, I'm going to bring them all back in. Here's one. So just in case you're just joining us, you can go back and watch the replay and see how they're made. All right. And here's one. This is the one we colored tonight, and this was the sample. All right, so here they are using the Flowering Foils designer paper. I really can't say that anymore. It's too much of a tongue twister. All right. Yeah, time does fly when you're having fun. You're right, Lee. It really does. All right, so hang on a second because I wanted to remind you. And what did I do with that piece of paper? Here it is. Okay. So if you decide that you must have the Flowering Foils designer paper, you can earn it free with a $50 purchase. And that's before shipping and tax, okay? You can shop in my online store, shop with BeCreativeStamping.com. When you place the $35 order in my online store, you will earn a B. And when you've earned 10 Bs, you'll receive $35 in free product. Now, you'll want to use this hostess code so that I know that you watch this Facebook Live presentation. This starts tonight, March 4th, through Monday, March 9th. And we'll say Monday at midnight. So anyone who places that order, I will send you all the materials, okay? The materials to make all 4 of these cards. Now, this is something I have never done before, all right? So play along and you know, I'll know when you place your order in my online store. I'll send you all the materials. Everything will be die cut, but I will not stamp anything per Stampin' Up policy, okay? But everything else will be done. I know, isn't the foil paper awesome? All right, so you can brayer, you can color with blends, you can use it just like it is, or you can use sponge daubers. And there are probably more ways to do that as well, all right? This Friday on my blog, you'll see the supply list. It'll actually be 4 supply lists, 1 for each card. And you'll find the Facebook Live replay as well on my blog page this Friday at www.becreativestamping.com.